Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore.
I've been lit for days. I wish my life was on a different page. I got peers and they got shit for brains. If you calm, you must have missed the rage. Me and the homies in our hundreds, but who's counting? We all ditched our rage. I got a biddy with a booty, don't stop. That shit clap like a crowd, that 187 the cop. I know a guy with an IQ that's peaking the top. He got a felony on his sheet, he pushing a mob. There's a house of cards being built around me and you. No sign of the doors or windows, but they'll sell you the view. Most of these homebodies pay the rent, but ain't got a clue. It's the same old kidnapping, just the ransom is new. The world we living in is really stranger than fiction. My fucking shrink done gave me pills to kick my Twitter addiction. Some of you folks fragile, scared to make a decision. Congratulations, your staleness is your prison.
I don't want you to protest, I don't want you to riot, I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has
I'm
value.
in the danger zone. The feds listen when I'm on the phone. I ain't special, that's just how it's going. Yesterday I had to smoke a clone. Got high enough to tap my dome. Started slurring like I'm Post Malone. It ain't an office, it's a rush to the loot. Outside a voting center, sign said, who got the juice? We're a being capable of such a noble pursuit. Then why ask the tree to stop making poisonous fruit? No system ever wanted us to win from the start. Imagine choking on the paint but still respecting the art. That's why these kids are willing to walk into the dark. And besides, a little danger can be good for your heart. You can peek behind the curtain, but it's on with the show. They think to shut this shit down, you gotta prove what you know. The only thing worse than clickbait from Donnie and Joe is the thought of either one of them fucking me slow.
And when the 12th largest company in the world controls the most awesome goddamn propaganda force in the whole godless world, who knows what shit will be peddled for truth on this network? Television is not the truth. Television is a goddamn amusement park. We're all you know. You're beginning to believe the illusions we're spinning here. You're beginning to think that the tube is reality and that your own lives are unreal. You do whatever the tube tells you. You dress like the tube. You eat like the tube. You raise your children like the tube. You even think like the tube. This is mass madness, you maniacs.
Good afternoon or good evening, something like that. Hell, hope everybody had a decent day. Sorry, I'm fighting off coughing. It'll get better in just a second. Anyway, hope everybody had a decent day. I'll tell you what, a lot of the different information and the news that came out through the day was kind of concerning, to be honest. It really, I think it really set the tone for where we are headed. I have been, a lot of changes that we made, kind of in our personal everyday, thing now, since all the election crapola. I do turn on Fox News and let it run in the background on the television, and I'll listen to it. So that's kind of a little bit of a change, but it's interesting to hear all the different stuff. Well, today, and I thought this was highly interesting, today, man, they were pushing masks and vaccines so hard. Now, we know Trump has always been, behind this vaccine thing, right? But not so much the mask. Now, he has asked people to wear them. He has advised it. But it's something that he did very, very, very few and far between. So that is interesting. All of a sudden, literally, overnight, like the flip of a switch, now Fox News is all pro-mask. And I mean seriously pro-mask. I've said it, I don't know how many times, that this was coming. It didn't matter. This was coming even if Trump was at the helm. The other thing that's coming, and I've said it a million times, is mandatory vaccines. And I would hope by now people are starting to get that picture. There was video I watched, or it was video that they played on Fox News today, where some dude was, he literally said, and I quote, "Fear the virus, not the vaccine." This was Fox News. And I am actually directly quoting, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I am directly quoting him. I remember word for word. He said, "Fear the virus, not the vaccine." They also played a little bit of a segment to where a question was asked to, and I don't know who he is. I think he might be one of the heads of the armed forces or something. But they had asked him, how long it would take to do that. And I'll tell you what, the way that it was answered initially was chilling. And I can't remember what was said initially, and I'm sorry for that. But he did say 24 hours is what the answer was. What is, here it is. They had asked him, what will be your first orders, your first command, or whatever after this, all goes through, they get the vaccines, all that in their possession. And he plainly, simply stated, and I'm not trying to go somewhere stupid with this so you understand, but he said execute, which just means go, start, okay? It doesn't mean kill everybody. Let's not go there with that stupidity. Now, we are in a hell of a position here. And like I said yesterday, I think that there is a little bit of a silver lining and with the Biden presidency. And what that is because now people, especially those that matter, are going to be on their toes. Okay? What do I mean by those that matter? The ones with the guns. Those are the ones that matter, okay? Largely conservatives. Red team, as I call them so often. They are the ones that matter. That's why I'm so hard on them. Plain and simple. Because they are the ones that matter. Look, maybe I was cut from a different cloth than a lot of these current soy boys in today's society, but my dad believed that we learned lessons the hard way, and that's how the hell we learn the lessons, and we learn them good. Man, I'm telling you, I hope that Red Team is on their feet. I really do. Don't really know what's happening there. I really don't. I know there have been reports of, and I don't sit there and wallow in that stuff either. But I know there was reports of a split Republican Party. We all know that Democrat Party has been split numerous times and continue to be split. So none of this is good. And now I'm against this party system anyway. I think parties need to be abolished. I don't think they should allow parties. I think you should run as an individual, period. That's it. You run as an individual. That way people have to look into what your actual policies and stuff like that are. It's not a matter of voting for a color. So, and I'm serious with that. And it literally breaks down to that, because there's a hell of a lot of people that went out and voted, just like they do every time they, that there's a vote. There's a hell of a lot of people that just go out and vote for a color. Now, that makes no damn sense. But it's what they do. And then they probably throw a sticker on their chest and walk around and act like they did something. You did the very, 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 very least amount that you could possibly do. Very least. You didn't even look into the candidates. That would be step one. If you're not going to take this responsibility, don't vote. If you're not going to look into the people you're voting for, don't vote. And if you say, okay, I'm just going to go and vote for the president. Okay, well then don't cry when the other team does that too. Because a lot of that, I think, happened this time around. 1 second. Alrighty. So yeah, I think that there's silver linings in this, but either way, we have one hell of a road to travel. And I don't think a lot of people really realize it. I hope people are ready to start listening. Not just to me, but to the prepping community as a whole. But I don't think there's much time. Now, one of the things that I wanted to bring up before we got into anything was Trump firing Mark Esper today. Now, I have been saying ever since, and maybe even a little bit before, Biden was announced as the winner, that I had one working theory, one suspicion that Trump might start a war. That would certainly support that theory, depending upon who he puts in there and why. So, that may be what he's doing. So, where does that go from there? Well, I don't know. If we go to war with Russia or China or both, that war is not just going to be fought over there. It's going to be fought over here too, because they ain't that stupid. And they have the ability. In fact, they have more means than we do at this particular point in time. But if we had war on our homeland, on our soil, that would be more than enough excuse for a sitting president to declare martial law. And one of the things about martial law is that whoever is in power when it is enacted remains in power as long as it is enacted. So you might want to chew on that for a little bit. Putin has finally came out and spoke, and he said that he wasn't going to congratulate Biden until it was official. Now tell me there ain't something going on. Now, I don't know if Xi Jinping has said anything yet. I honestly don't know if he said anything yet to Biden or not. Last I knew, China was mum. And at the time, Russia was mum. So Russia has just spoke out, and it seems a bit awkward. You've got all these nations that are rushing to congratulate Biden, right? And we've seen this stuff happen all over the world, where there have been contested elections and stuff like that. In fact, look at Venezuela, right? And you better know we had our hand in that, right? With Maduro. Think about it. It's the same thing happening here. No different. No different at all. We're literally at a stage that we're a banana republic for the most part. If it keeps moving forward at all, right? I mean, we're right on that banana peel of a republic, you know? Just one more little step and we're there. So, it's all important stuff to consider because it directly involves you and what you may be facing in the very near future. And if this struggle is real, and there's got to be some type of okay, even if their struggle is not real, you have to understand this. Even if their struggle is nothing but a three-ring circus for us to watch, we are still going down. Are we not? So does it really matter in the end whether it's all a three-ring circus or whether there is a true power struggle or whatever the case may be? If the lights go out, the lights go out. For you and I, the consequences of that are the same. Not so much for them. And they don't give a damn about you and I. They aren't going to be here. They ain't going to be here. They ain't going to be the ones to make sure that you have food, clean water, proper sanitation system, a way to dispose of waste where people aren't going to get sick. All this stuff is important. Hugely important because these are the things that kill. These are the things that kill more than anybody. Or anything, sorry. And war kills more than bullets. Disease. Lack of proper sanitation. That includes clean drinking water. That includes knowing how to take care of your waste so it don't wind up making you sick. Now, I've been talking about, preparedness a lot for a reason, and I've been talking about, free ways to prepare. Well, there you go. That's a big chunk of information that if you don't know, you better find out. How can I safely dispose of human waste? While you're at it, find out how you can safely dispose of a human body. Fun, huh? Seriously. And I'm saying that from a not roll it up in the carpet and put it out in the dumpster kind of way, right? No, I'm talking about an unfortunate incident after a major event to where there is not going to be any services coming by to pick up your loved one or the guy that tried to do whatever. There is not going to be any of those types of services. That's going to be on you. So what do? You don't know? Might want to find out. Serious stuff. This is why I don't have time for ignorance right now. Well, I have zero. I mean, I pretty much always have zero, but it's why I especially have zero. Because there's a lot of stuff that people just aren't, and maybe they're trying to just live out their imaginary bubble. But whatever. there's a storm coming. And we either put on our ponchos, buy a poncho and put it on, or drown, whatever. And if people are going to destine themselves to drown, well, I'm not going to waste my time on them. I can't, because there's other people that want help, that need help. Those are the people that I need to focus on. Those are the people that I can help. And I advise you to do the same. If you go out to the people that you run into, your loved ones, your friends, your coworkers, whatever, and you talk to them about prepping, you explain to some of this stuff, because now it's becoming very real to a lot of people. But make sure that when you do that, oh crap, now I forgot where I was even going with that. Can't even remember I was going with that. But make sure you do plenty of research into these things. That's what the main thing I was trying to say. These are things you can do for free, okay? Doesn't cost you a dime to research, doesn't cost you a dime to study. Load as much information into your head as you can, because it's going to be necessary. If you've got good books that would be helpful and useful, I would highly recommend maybe you gather those books up and put them in a plastic tote where they'll be safe, number one, and number two, they'll be all in one place where you know where they're at. Because those books might save your life. Yeah, I take this a little seriously. Why? Because I've been doing this for over 14 years. And I'm about 95% sure it's time. And I think there are plenty of others that see it too. Like Bear says all the time, a lot of people, they're playing. They're playing. I'm not. Neither is he. I get it. That's I don't agree with Bear on all issues, especially kind of some of the socio-political kind of viewpoints. I do everything I can to be strictly nonpartisan, non-biased, and non-discriminatory as I can. And that goes for any group of people, right? I'm not going to sit there and just rag on one group of people. I'll rag on them all, right? Because in reality, they've all got strengths and weaknesses, just like all of us. Let's not try to bullshit each other, shall we? Just be real. That's all I ask of people, to be real. Not so much. You wouldn't think it would be so much, but in today's society, it's literally asking more than the world. It really is. Sad. Sad that people can't be people. Sad that a man can't be a man. It's sad that a person can't be a person of their word. Because you'll get scrutinized for that. Most unreal society that I could ever imagine. Whatever. Make sure you're up on medical preps and stuff like that. Make sure you've got some of that gear at hand. Of course, everybody lives in different areas, have different situations, so I would advise you start thinking over your situation really, really well. And I've said this here before. Go ahead and start staging stuff, okay? Like I mentioned, medical equipment. Go ahead and start staging it. Get it to where you're going to have quick, fast, easy access to it. And do that for everything that you need. If you were going to go on Red Alert, go on Red Alert. That's what I'm saying. Now, I don't mean board up your windows. Not yet. Unless, unless you really feel like you need to, and you need to get a head start on it, then you might want to get a head start on it. But if you've got things set up, a system set up, or enough help, whatever the case may be, where you can do these things in a very, very efficient manner, then yeah, you could probably wait to make the call a little while. But I'm telling you, I don't see things bouncing back. I see us taking a very, very, very steep, quick dive, and it was going to happen regardless of who won the election. Because I'm telling you, man, COVID-19 just does not give a damn who's president. Doesn't care. And I find it just so mind-blowing that now Fox News wants to talk about the difference in the kinds of masks. When before, none of them were good. Right? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I hope, I'm not going to hold my breath, not for a second, but I hope that conservatives remember this. I hope that they remember that they were lied to by a president, his administration, the conservative media outlets. I hope they remember that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when an agenda is more important than your well-being. Now again, I've not said that this is an extinction level thing or anything of the sort. I'm not going there whatsoever. But nonetheless, it's going to cause some huge problems. It already has. And what it has caused already is nothing. It completely pales in comparison to what it's about to cause right in the coming months. It's going to be starting this one. I do believe it'll be towards the end of this month to where things start to get really nasty in this country, COVID-wise. Overfilled hospitals, emergency COVID hospitals set up like they did last time, started to get going last time. Again, summer killed it. It did. Summer killed it. It's back. Now it's time to deal with it. I can't begin to tell you the road we've got. And all I can do is hope like hell that we don't lose the grid. But I'm not holding my breath on that either. They want you to get a vaccine, and they want your guns. And it didn't matter who won the election. That's what's going to happen. You have to really understand the problem. The problem is that our government has not ran our country for a very, very long time. And neither do we the people. That is the problem. And people have spent all this time rooting for their favorite person, when in the end, wasn't going to make a damn bit of difference anyway. And I've been saying that for a long time. Why? Just look at the strings. They're not hard to see. Look at the puppet strings. They're not hard to see at all. which does bring up another important point that I want to talk about, and that is something very interesting. And I caught it. I think Luke Radowski had talked about this, maybe in his video today, yesterday. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was him. But apparently there might be a rift between between Trump and, I call him Netanyahu. Apparently there may be a rift between them. Now, I am aware of something that happened that I believe caused a problem, and maybe this will jolt your memory, and I recall this myself. Now, I don't know if that's what Luke was talking about or something else, but there was something here not so long ago where I believe it might have been involved with the peace deals that were signed or whatever, and immediately after things were signed or whatever, apparently Netanyahu started announcing that they were going to do things that weren't agreed upon. And Trump said something about it. Now, I am aware of that. I do remember that myself. So, I thought it was highly interesting the way Netanyahu spoke of Biden when he congratulated him. Anything sound a little weird there? So, and made some kind of comment about how he'd been a good friend or something to Israel or something like that. So, just look at the puppet strings. It's really right there in front of everybody. Right. Sorry about that. Let me have a sip of coffee. So I'm looking at all this and I'm trying to figure it out. The world stage, okay? Russia and China are apprehensive about seems to be apprehensive about Biden being president. Okay? Find that mind-blowing. I don't understand that. Because it would appear to me that Trump's on the verge of going to war with China. And I wouldn't say that relations between Trump and Putin are stellar. So exactly why Putin's holding back, he just might be holding back. It might be a formal thing for him. Who knows? It may not be as far as Putin is concerned. But I want to go back to this thing with Netanyahu for a second. Could that be, could there be something with that? With Trump and Netanyahu having differences and Trump not getting reelected. I just want to put that out there. Just something to chew on. I'm not saying that it's correct. It's just something to chew on. Again, we can sit here and we can discuss all this stuff until we're blue in the face. But if we're not prepared, it's pointless. Might as well just turn on some stupid TV show and ignore it if you're not going to actively do something to get ready. Trying to think if there was anything else from today that stuck out. I mean, that's how I've been talking roughly 30 minutes or so, a little over 30 minutes. A lot of stuff stuck out in my head today. I didn't just go through and reread anything or anything like that before I went live or anything. I'm just literally pulling this out of my head from what I watched earlier or read earlier, and some watched. So I take in news and information all day long, which is one reason why I really kind of wanted to move down to this 8 o'clock schedule, is because I can do a more comprehensive job of the news throughout that day. Because when I did the when I did the 4 o'clock news, once I was done with headlines, unless it was something important and breaking, I never said another headline. I was tweeting them out and all that stuff, but I wasn't telling you guys the headlines when they were coming out. Kind of doesn't make sense. It's a news show. So I figured it made more sense to go on at 8 o'clock. That way I can collect more news throughout the day. Have the good part of the day for us to be able to live life. Because I'm telling you, when, it's like working a second shift job. It just screws you up. And that's essentially what it was working a second shift job. Even though it wasn't 8 or 10 hours a day, it still cut that chunk of time out of your day, starting at roughly 3 o'clock, because I had to start getting stuff set up and ready. But, man, better be getting ready. I don't know how long it's going to take for all this stuff to start unraveling. Probably not long. And I would say, it would be real safe to say that between now and inauguration, there's going to be a whole hell of a lot of sparks to fly. That's a pretty safe bet, I would say. I don't know how far anybody is willing to go here. I have no idea. This is not whatever, a theory, or not a theory, but this is not a scenario that I wargamed. So I'm still trying to think about it, trying to look at the different possibilities, and there are so many changes, there are so many variables in the whole situation that to make that drastic of a change in your situation, man, it resets a whole lot of little things, and you kind of have to work all through it again. I don't know how far anybody's going to be willing to go in all this. And when I say that, the diehard Trump fans, okay, I don't know how far they're going to be willing to go. Have no idea. I know right now there's tons of people going to different platforms from Facebook, running to, I think Parler's the big one, MeWe's another, and I just look and I laugh, because how many times have I seen this? Over and over and over and over and over. They'll be back on Facebook in short order when it doesn't work out over there. It never works out. There's a reason for that, all right? There's a reason for that. It's not going to work out unless the government has their hand in it. You need to understand that. I don't care what it is. If it's on the www, okay, and when I say it's not, I don't mean Joe Blow can't own a website. We own a website. We own several websites. But that doesn't mean they're big. They're not Amazon. They're not YouTube. They're not Facebook. They're not Twitter. Not Instagram. Okay? And you could build the best damn site, social media website on the planet. And without their rubber stamp of approval, and when I say that, I don't mean they have to certify you to do it. But I'm telling you, there's a lot that goes into what gets promoted and what doesn't. And they're not going to allow anything to really go, you know. They'll shut it down. They'll shut it down. Plain and simple. I think we're going to see a lot of that here soon. I do. I think we're going to see a lot of it soon. We'll see. I mean, you've got people. I'm not going to call anybody out, but I'm subscribed to some people on YouTube that I've watched a couple of videos over the last couple of days, and I mean, it seems like the guy's calling on for full-on insurrection. That's what it sounds like to me. Does that sound right to you, babe? I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about. The one guy, I don't want to try to out anybody, but he had an accent. Did it sound like the guy that was talking about, you know, the election and all that stuff going on? We watched one video today of him, one video yesterday, I think it was, or the day before from him, and sounded to me like he was full on calling for an insurrection. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Was that enough to ring your memory or not? Oh, okay. I don't want to give you anything more because I don't want to give it because my intent's not to call anybody out. My intent's to talk about the temperature of the room. Okay? And I don't know how far they're willing to go. But if they're willing to actually do something, then you need to be prepared. Okay? Because you may lose power. You could lose a lot of things. It's hard to say. Hard to say what would happen. Again, so many variables. So many variables. It was easier to pin down the situation with a Trump win. Because we at least even had an idea of where the hot spots were going to be, for one. Now, do you know? I don't know. Where's the hot spots going to be? Right? If these diehard Trump supporters decide they want to do something, where's the hot spots going to be? Do you know? They're going to be Portland in the streets in that same area? I doubt it. That's just one variable. The where. So be prepared. Good book says he comes like a thief in the night for a reason. There are many reasons that's in there. One of them is to tell you to be prepared. Because it's going to come when you least expect it. Right now is not a time you should be least expecting it, but you know what I mean? Now's the time to where it could screw up a lot of us. Really could. You know? Over the years, I've known people that keep the majority of their preps off site. The majority. Some of them rent storage lockers and just various solutions. I'm not going to give all of them out. Storage locker is a popular one. So anyway, don't be one of those cats that's caught away from your stuff because you didn't act soon enough to go get it. And like I've been saying, depending on your situation, you have to judge it yourself. If you've got a bug out location, you might want to start looking at it kind of hard. Even if you're not loading up quite yet, you might want to start coming to the realization that it's likely going to happen pretty quickly. And you need to kind of understand that as a family if need be. Because if you don't, You don't want those kind of problems popping up at the last minute, right? Husband and wife, couple of kids, last minute, mom ain't going. Not a good situation to have to deal with at the last minute. The Bear is put out recently, I think Back to the Basics is what they're called. One of them he put out today, as a matter of fact, I think. And watch those. The first one I think it was on communication. That's what this is. It's communication. Right now, your communication with those that matter, your communication with those that matter should be at a premium. All right? Your communication with those that don't matter shouldn't exist right now. Now's not the time. Do the things. That's all I can tell you is do the things. I don't like where we're at. And I hope that I can play some of these videos like this back a year from now and go, man, you were so stupid. You were so stupid. But I don't think I'm going to get the chance. I don't think a year from now the internet's going to exist. I don't think we're going to have electricity. I think the majority of Americans are likely going to be dead. You know why I'm not playing? Maybe it's because I've accepted reality a long time ago. And I'm trying to help. Very valuable lesson a brother taught to me. Detach in love. Detach in love. Father Yah sent him to give me that message. And I use it every day, day in and day out. I live it. I don't just use it, I live it. I wished I had good answers. Like I say, there are some silver linings here, and let's not forget those. They seem a little bit odd, but nonetheless, they're silver linings, right? All that matters is whether or not there's a good, productive result in the end, and I think that this will produce that. Unfortunately, there's no ammo to be bought, and sorry, I'm kind of laughing when I say that. But unfortunately, there's no ammo to be bought. Very little ammo. From my understanding, the selection of firearms is kind of limited. And the prices have gone through the roof. I don't know what to tell people. This is all stuff that I've been saying for the last 14 years as far as really being loud about it. Just make sure you have everything as ready as you can. And like I say, staged is important. I would start staging stuff. Very important. Can't think of anything else. Let me run through the normal stuff, and I'll do headlines, and I'm sure there'll probably be a few things I have to say in the headlines, so I'm going to run through the normal stuff as quick as I can. Amazon affiliate, we are going up. We're not $4.18. I do show that there has been more items ordered, so I appreciate that very, very much. For those that don't know, there's a link down in the... oh, I didn't switch you guys over. Sorry. For those that don't know, there's a link down in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com right there. That link just takes you to Amazon, but it does so with our special link, and when you purchase items, those items don't cost you anymore, but it throws a little bit our way for the sale, like a little commission. All those little bits add up at the end of the month, and they cut us a little bit. So it's not, we don't make a fortune, but every little bit's nice. So we highly appreciate those that participate in that, and we would appreciate if those that don't would do so. So we also have a Teespring Store. Best way to find what we have there is go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. There's also a link in the description of the videos. And we've got 4 different designs right now. It's more than t-shirts. There's tote bags, coffee mugs, all kinds of stuff. If you see a design that catches your eye, click on the image. That'll take you over to Teespring, where they have all the other products with that particular design, and you can make your purchase there. So we also have a PayPal donate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at thewatchmannews.com right there in the main menu. When you click that, it just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know it says Transforming Disabilities up top, but it also says Purpose, the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. All right, all that stuff is gone. Let me run through these numbers real quick. Let me refresh this now. Remember, but I'm going to show you, there is good news with these numbers that I'm seeing. But remember, now that we are doing this at a different time of the day, the numbers are going to be low. Because I don't know what time it is, 3, 4, 5, something like that, my time. I think maybe 3 or 4 my time, something like that. It's like that's when they reset, okay? It's not like midnight my time they reset. It's sometime in the afternoon they reset. So that's why it's always going to be low from now on the show, because of the time, unless they change the time. So, but anywho, right now it's at 5:22. This is what's going to give us the accurate reading, but it's going to give us the accurate reading for the day prior, not today. So, yesterday there were 104,000 new cases, so that's down. They're showing a trend down for that, and deaths, which this is awesome. Not any deaths, single deaths horrible, but what I'm saying is this is down over half, okay, 471 I think it was, right? The prior day was 1045, yesterday was 471, so like I said, you're going to see, and I called them yesterday because I don't know what else to call them, like little microwaves, little mini micro waves, and I don't mean the kind you cook food in. I'm talking about the waves of the virus. That's what this is reminiscent of to me, just little mini microwave like things. And I suspect though that you're going to start seeing the numbers start really hitting high. So we're starting to see that upward trend, but I think it's really going to skyrocket. I really do. So anyway, that's what's up there. Our little bitty town, we're still getting kind of hit here. We're now up to 715. Yesterday we were at 697, so that means we gained 18 in the last 24 hours in our little town. So, I mean, we just keep, every day there's a substantial amount added. So we're not a huge town. It's not like we're a big bustling city or something like that. We're like, I think it's like roughly somewhere around 13,000 is our population. So we're not real big. You think about that. You do the math. I ain't going to do it. You do the math. 13,715 people out of 13,000 people. You do the math and figure out the percentage of that and understand that the majority of that, like literally more than half of that, is like within the last month and a half, 2 months. And it's just now starting to ramp up. So a lot of those are actually within the last maybe 3 weeks or so. So yeah, it's kind of a thing. But I thought it was really interesting when Fox News, the way they were really pushing hardcore on the masks too. Not just the vaccines, but the masks too. It was crazy. It was like it was like I turned on a different channel from the rhetoric that you would hear last week. Like you completely changed networks. Real interesting. And I know that there's a big exodus from Fox News and all this. Stop. They're all lying to you. Let's stop with the nonsense. Alright, let me have a sip of tea here, and we'll do some headlines. Alright, starting with stuff that I put out last night. This would have been probably after, it would have been after the show. Parler, that social media website that I had mentioned earlier, malfunctions as app favored by conservatives, overwhelmed by new users fleeing censorship, ranks as most downloaded in the U.S. And again, that's true. But it's probably not going to really go anywhere. You'll see. These headlines come out more often than you realize. Trump left a minefield between U.S. and Venezuela. Maduro says he's ready to work with Biden to mend relations. I bet he is. A conscript soldier kills officer with axe after row, then shoots and kills 2 other personnel in attack at Russian Air Force Base. And we are at today's news. Sorry, I normally let you know that. Attacks on meat to save the planet. British health experts call for new levies on food with heavy environmental impact. Yeah. And we've seen this, they've been moving this direction, stuff with this direction for a while. And you're really going to see that. If we have functional governments long enough, you're really going to see a big push for this kind of stuff. Disarm, defund, abolish the police. BLM activists block patrol cars during protest march in Michigan. See, I think the powers that be, the true powers that be, they want a smooth transition, but, they want every bit of your freedom. They want everything. They want you to just be a mindless drone and do their bidding. That's it. I'm not good with that. India bets big on its farmers to rescue economy from coronavirus pandemic. Flu vaccine derived from genetically modified tobacco plants sails through clinical trials. But vaping is bad, kids. UK has opened a sensible compromise on fishing, says the Environment Minister. A strike against breeding ground for extremism. Austrian police arrest 30 people with suspected links to Islamist groups. Kiss your car goodbye. Russian government proposes zero tolerance approach to drunk driving. It says drink driving, but I'm going to say drunk because I think they've been drinking. Welsh government ends firebreak lockdown even as COVID pandemic cause of concern in many areas. In surprise move, Russian cabinet reshuffled for second time this year. Minister of Energy promoted to Deputy Prime Minister. Putin will not congratulate Biden until results are official and legal procedures are complete, the Kremlin announces. Talked about that earlier. German foreign minister optimistic about better relationship with U.S. after Biden declares victory. Antifa says no presidents. Portland Democrat building defaced with F Biden, BLM, and a cab, all cops are bitches, whatever, graffiti. So, yeah. Take that! Or something, because I'm confused. Emerging markets could see influx of cash in event of Biden victory, says Standard Chartered. COVID vaccine relief is imminent. Orban promises, but restrictive measures to tackle soaring infections are reintroduced. And that's in Hungary, if you didn't know where that cat was from. Great day for science and humanity. Pfizer says COVID-19 vaccine more than 90% effective in final trials. EU and U.S. must work side by side, Merkel says, as she again congratulates Biden. Again. Did I congratulate you? I better make sure. Congratulations. Congratulations again. I'm telling you, man. I don't know if he won this election fair and square or anything like that. I don't know. And I'm not going to beat my head into a concrete wall trying to figure it out. I'm not. I will laugh at it. I will laugh at all of it because we're going to wind up in the same damn place either way. So why would I not laugh at it? Why would I not laugh at a bunch of fools acting like idiots? Why would I not? What else are you going to do? Fight with people about it? That's what a lot of people do. They want to argue with each other about it. It's not what I want to do. It ain't worth stealing my joy. Screw that. We have a lot of joy in our home. Believe it or not, we have a lot of joy in our home. And I'm damn well going to keep it that way for as long as I can. So I don't fight over this stuff with anybody. I don't. I think it's silly. Because in the end, it doesn't matter. The answers and solutions are still the same for us. We have to save our own asses. Period. So, it is what it is. But just in case, Mr. Biden, congratulations. We can take them. Nationalist MP says Russia would come out on top in a war with Japan. Serbia links economic ties with Russia. Russia-led free trade zone. Sorry, I totally screwed up reading that one. Austria confirms reports that Vienna shooter hosted Islamist summit with extremists from Germany and Switzerland in July. Time to normalize U.S.-Russian relations. Former Soviet leader Gorbachev hopes Biden will engage in serious dialogue with the Kremlin. Hey, I hope that any U.S. leader will engage in serious dialogue with the Kremlin and North Korea and Iran and Palestine, right? How about Yemen? Be another one, right? And how about we knock it the hell off with Venezuela? That would be nice, right? That's a good start. It's that ridiculous. The United States is that much of a world problem. Violence erupts as high school students clash with police on streets of Paris. A Virgin Hyperloop. I'll let you think on that one for a little while. It's a train, man. Get your mind out of the gutter. Virgin Hyperloop completes first test with human passengers on board. I'm not saying that if you Google Virgin Hyperloop that you might not come up with something totally different. Not my area of expertise. Easing of Scotland's COVID-19 restrictions highly unlikely, says Sturgeon ahead of Tuesday review. unrest on New York City streets continues as woman arrested for slapping camera out of cop's hand during anti-police protests. EU to slap tariffs on $4 billion worth of goods over Boeing aid. Former President Evo Morales ends year-long exile and returns to Bolivia. And I believe that is a direct result of Biden. You know, I think it's a direct, indirect result of Biden getting announced. Along with their leader that just got elected. Not just Biden, but their leader and Biden. I think he would have maybe been a little more apprehensive about returning if Trump would have won. Just saying. We're reliable partner. Wait, is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. I may have that backwards on that area. Man, there's a lot of stuff that I try to keep an eye on. Let's see. We're reliable partners to the U.S. Poland says military cooperation would only grow stronger under Biden administration. Again, more pushing for Biden. One step at a time, EU welcomes Biden's victory, but says it's too early to discuss cooperation. That's kind of an interesting headline. A Dow surges to all-time high after Pfizer reveals its COVID vaccine is more than 90% effective. A ban on an end-to-end encryption looming in EU, Austrian broadcaster reports after Vienna terror attack. 1 in 7 UK mothers barred from seeing sick babies due to COVID-19 restrictions, preemie charity fines. Sorry, I had to have a sip of tea here. And a vape. Siberia prepares for abnormally warm winter weather after year of record-breaking heat. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Weather systems are screwed. I won't take her home to die. Russian paramedic filmed desperately pleading as hospital refuses to admit 90-year-old woman. Man. Things are going to get ugly. Iran deprived of 5 million flu vaccine doses this year due to U.S. sanctions, says their deputy health minister. Russian helicopter shot down in Armenia, says Moscow. Downing Street warns no guarantees over COVID-19 vaccine by Christmas, despite promising results in Pfizer trial. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, diagnosed with COVID-19, says he feels well. Cuomo says COVID-19 Pfizer vaccine under Trump is bad news and vows to block distribution until Biden is president. Because it's going to be different when... What? It is Cuomo. Mutated COVID-19 strain from mink prompts Israel to launch testing for travelers returning from Denmark. Lawmakers warn of greater surveillance as EU governments seek access to encrypted messages after Islamist attacks. A Kosovo ex-president Taisi pleads not guilty to war crimes at The Hague. Baku says it shot down Russian helicopter by accident and apologizes, says it's ready to compensate, says the Azerbaijani foreign ministry. And I saw the headlines coming out as this unfolded. And I'm telling you what, man, Baku they were on it. I mean, they owned up to that as quick as they could. And right on to them. Right on to them. You know, it sucks. It sucks, you know, that anybody's got to be in any of these kinds of positions around the world, but it's just a fact of life. And Unfortunately, things happen. I don't know what the circumstances were. I don't know why it was mistaken. But two crew members lost their lives, and another one was injured. But good on them for coming right out. I mean, it's not something you see often. U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper fired and replaced, Trump announces. Russia says Sputnik V vaccine equally as effective as U.S. pharma giant Pfizer's newly unveiled COVID-19 formula. Russian Foreign Ministry appreciates Azerbaijan's admission of guilt and promises a probe into helicopter shoot-down over Armenia. War over? Armenia's Pashinyan says signed declaration with Russia's Putin and Azerbaijan's Aliyev to end Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Putin says Russian peacekeepers headed for Nagorno-Karabakh as Azerbaijan and Armenia sign armistice. Azerbaijan's Aliyev praises historic deal to end bloodshed, says Turkish forces to join Russian peacekeepers in Nagorno-Karabakh. You know, this is good. Now, does this have anything, could it be in any way related to our political situation? I don't really know. It's possible. I don't know enough details, though, to be able to say. I'm not going to sit here and tell you a bunch of BS. Let's see. Crowds protest in Yerevan and storm Armenia's parliament after painful Nagorno-Karabakh peace deal announcement. Let's see. Russian peacekeepers begin deploying to Nagorno-Karabakh under Armenia-Azerbaijan peace deal. McConnell does not acknowledge Biden victory, says Trump 100% within his rights to legally fight. And he is. I mean, that's just a fact. He is. EU molds Europe-wide imam training body to crack down on ideology of hatred. And let's see, Russian peacekeepers board planes for deployment to Nagorno-Karabakh conflict zone. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It is truly crazy. There's so much to keep a close eye on right now. And like I've said a million times, I've said a lot of things a million times. Some of the most important information you can have is that last data, that last bit of information right before that poop is flung. Okay? Like what breed of dog it was, that's important. Okay? If it was a dog, right? Gotta know what species it is first, I guess. What kind of fan is it? All these things are important. And I know I'm sounding stupid, but there's a reality to that. There's a reality to it. You got to know which way you have to duck, dodge, dive, or whatever the 5 Ds or whatever. I can't remember dodgeball, but yeah, you I can't remember it. Damn it, that sucks. I wished I could remember it. That would have been kind of funny. But anyway, you have to know which way to duck. Am I right? So that's what that last bit of information is going to tell you. Which way you need to duck. Highly recommend shortwave. Highly recommend it. Make sure you've got shortwave communications. Make sure you've got radio equipment. We ain't playing. Ain't playing. That's my radio bag right by my chair. Jin's is sitting there too. Not playing a bit. And out the door with this. I've got a shortwave radio right here. As you can see on the side of the bag there, that's a Baofeng, what is it, 5XP, UV5XP. This is the 8 watt version of like the UV5R, but it's the 8 watt version of it. I mean, I've got the small battery on it, the standard like battery you would get with the UV5R, but there's two in here. I'll just pull one out. I've got two extended batteries in here, and Jen's, with the exception of the shortwave radio, Jen's is a carbon copy of my radio bag. Carbon copy, with the exception of shortwave. She doesn't have a shortwave radio in hers. But then, if those three batteries aren't going to get me by, right here is an Anker, and it's 1350 or something like that milliamp hour, battery backup, or portable battery. Again, Jen's got a carbon copy in her bag. Billy Mays would probably say, but wait, there's more. Right? Because there's a lot. I'm not going to go through the entire bag, but this is an important part of it to show you. This here is a J-pole antenna. Alright? To string up in a tree. To increase my range. On my handheld UV5XP. Not playing. Communication is important. My medical bag, right? Watch this. Watch this. How long did that take me? I literally had to walk around the desk. And sitting on top of this, I can't remember the number. I think it's M17, the number of the bag or something. I think it's an M17. It's a medical bag. Right? I would say that's probably somewhere close to the equivalent of Bear's. Maybe close. Nah, it's not. I don't think it's going to be quite what his stomp bag is. Maybe. I don't know. But there's a fair amount of stuff in it, I'll tell you that. Sitting on top, I have 2 pairs of surgical gloves. Okay. They're inside of little bitty plastic packages so that literally I could run up on somebody that may be assisting, or I may be assisting them, either way, however that works. But I've got a pair of gloves. I can just throw a bag at them and say, there's your gloves. They can grab it, rip the bag, or they can open it neat and nice if they want. It doesn't matter. And there's their gloves. It's right there sitting on top. Bear always does the tourniquet thing. He does, calls time. My tourniquet's right here. Right there. It's sitting on top of the bag. Why? Because I'm going to need that. If I need that, I'm going to need that. It's not going to be something I can go, have time to dig for. So that's why it's sitting on top of the bag. I'm sitting at home, folks, so there's no need for me to carry this stuff on my person. Right? I'm sitting at home. You've seen how long it took me to get to it. So if I need that bag any quicker than that, I probably ain't got much of a hope anyway. Right? Right here, sitting on top. It's a generic version of Quick Clot called Stops Bleeding is the brand on this. You know the deal with it, right? Stop bleed. So, I mean, right there, I've got a pen, an ink pen. I've got a Sharpie. That sets on top of there. You know, if you can't tell, it sets on top of there because ideally if I seen something or heard something outside or something like that, I could run up, grab this stuff, and throw it in my pocket and grab the bag and go. That's why it's literally setting on top of the bag under the handle. So I can pick it up and go. Not playing. I'm not playing. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead and get your stuff staged. You don't know what could happen or how quickly it could happen. And hopefully your intentions are to help. You know? And being as best prepared to be able to do that as quickly as you can is important. I mean, number of things. Self-defense. You know, make sure you've got that stuff ready. Right? Make sure you've got it ready. Somebody run up on my desk. Literally that quick. How long did that take me? Holy shit, dude. Really? Really, really. I mean, otherwise. Right? Called EDC for a reason. Because you carry it. With my medical stuff, though, I think it's sufficient being on the rocking chair over there. I think that's a sufficient spot for it. And I would like to come up with a little solution. I would. I kind of would like to have a mini version of a mini bear fact, right? You know, when I say that, I think if you went with the compact chest seals, you could actually get the footprint of that down a little bit and be a little bit more suitable for kind of an everyday carry kind of thing. You know, I'm just, it's an idea I would like to toy with a little bit to see if I could get that size down just a little bit, but with the same components in it, without giving up any components other than maybe going to the compact chest seals versus the full size. So, bare minimum. I couldn't think of the damn name of it. Sorry, bare minimum. Which is an incredible, man. I wished I could get a couple. I do. I wished I could get one for Jen and I. Those are incredible. They are nice. There are so many things we need to get, and I pretty much pissed on every bit of as far as news and stuff concerned income stream that we had. As far as decals and stuff, as far as a business, yeah, I pissed on that income stream too. It's fine. I'm in this for God. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in this for anything else. And Father Yah will provide. As long as I'm working my ass off for him, he's going to work his ass off for me. That's the way it works. And I ain't worried. I ain't worried. But we have to be real picky and choosy with what we get now as a result of that. And I would love to, you know, see if I could strike up a deal where I could just get the pouches and then order the stuff that goes in them as I can, you know. But I don't know if he sells just the pouches alone or not. But, because I really do want, man, hands down, every design I've seen don't even come close to what Bear's design is on that Bear pack and that Bear minimum. That is just that's incredible. Not really something the Bear minimum like. It's not something I'd carry around every day on as an EDC. It's a little big for that. And I think he would say the same. I think he would look a little goofy carrying that around just everywhere. But again, I think if you went to compact chest seals, I think you could get the footprint down. And the other thing that I would prefer to do is get the tourniquet on the outside of that. And I would like to get the trauma shears on the outside of it too. Like a lot of the, and I get it, you're kind of starting to get away from what the Bear pack and the Bear minimum is. But I'm talking about my preference, not necessarily, not trying to recreate his product. I'm talking about my preference. I would like those things to be on the outside, just because I want them quicker and easier to get to. And I don't want to have to pull nothing open to get to that tourniquet or to get to those shears. So we can get the rest. We can deal with the rest stuff later. First, I got to know what I'm dealing with. I either got to get a tourniquet started, or I've got to know what I'm dealing with. So that's going to take shears or a tourniquet. Most likely. I mean, unless the wound's already visible or whatever. You know what I'm saying. And I'm not a medical person. I am not a medical person at all. But this is just common sense. I wished I could put every bit that I have up here onto a flash drive and give it to you. But I can't. One of the things that's been really frustrating for me personally here lately is that, all of my life I've been obtaining knowledge. And there was something that told me throughout my entire life that it was important to obtain that knowledge, and that I was going to do something important with it. And I hope that that is still the case. But when I look around our particular area, I'm a little discouraged with what I see in the public. I don't know if the people here are going to be able to work together effectively enough to make it work. And it's way frustrating for me because I kind of built my entire plan around this community, around these people. Because if it was any kind of an SHTF other than, or there wasn't so much civil, division that we were so close to civil war and stuff, it would be the ideal spot. It's like a little Mayberry. But there are some differences and some darknesses in this town that have deeply divided this community, as has most of the nation and world. I'm only one person. I kind of hope that if things go south really quick, that a lot of people might, get snapped into attention, so to speak. And I think a lot of that will happen. I mean, even the good book says, every knee will bend or every knee will bow. I can't remember exactly verbatim. And it's in there, and I believe if it's in there, I believe it's going to happen. I'm watching so many things in the good book that are just playing right out in front of my eyes. And to me, it's so obvious. And that's, I guess, one of the things that has me all kind of confused with this Biden thing. Because I trust the good book, and I trust where we're at in the good book. Where my assessment is of where we're at in the good book, I should say. And I trust who I believe is who in a few different positions in the good book. And this kind of throws things up a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Who knows? A week from now, it could be back game on for Trump. We don't know. We don't know yet. There are so many variables to all of this. But I'm telling you, there are some certainties. There are some things that aren't variable. And one of those are mandatory masks, mandatory vaccines, mandatory lockdowns. All of it's coming. And it doesn't matter whether Trump's at the helm or Biden's at the helm. It ain't going to make a bit of difference. And in fact, Trump's probably going to be at the helm when it gets done. Mark my words. I'm telling you, Fox News was pushing masks and vaccines so hard today. It's coming. They're preparing the people for it. That's how they do it. Who's president right this particular moment? Donald J. Trump. And will be until January 21st at least. So there is that. We really need to stop the finger pointing with this stuff. We need to understand some things are science, some things are common sense, some things are real. You know, we need to use our heads, not our asses. Right? We got to respect the reality of the situation and modify our behavior to be able to overcome the challenges that it presents. Okay? That's the situation. That's the sit rep. That's where we're at. You can't learn to adapt. You will never overcome. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You might get lucky a couple of times. But once things go out of the norm, you're done. You have to be able to adapt. Again, I wished I could take everything that I've learned throughout my entire life, actually, not just for the last 14 years, throughout my entire life, because I've been researching the craziest shit all of my life. Learning about the craziest things, how this works, how that works. It's stuff that, whatever, I just curious about how everything works. A non-stop curiosity about how everything works. Ever since I was a child. Long as I can remember. You can imagine a lot of pissed off parents and a lot of broken shit that I took apart. But, you know what? It didn't take me long to figure out how to start putting that stuff back together again and how to actually fix it. I started doing that at a very, very, very young age. Been a crazy journey. And it wasn't until the last 14 years that I started to understand it. And then my life got turned upside down. Lost my family. But Father Yah had to do that. I'm not upset at him. I get it. Probably one of the reasons why people have a hard time understanding me is not because it's that they don't understand me, but they don't understand Father Yah, because that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my very, very, very best to remain within His will and do His will. Why? Because I was set there, broke down to literally nothing. I was broke down to that singular brick on the ground. And had to build back my life in every single way, including my identity. Brick by brick by brick. That part of the journey started 6 years ago. People wonder why I have a little bit of an attitude. Like I say, anytime anybody thinks that they can live my life better than me, they're more than welcome to put on these shoes. Show me. Don't tell me. Show me. Because I bet you can't do it. I know the hurdles, and I know all of them. And the ins and outs of them. But all I really want people to do is listen to me and get ready. That's all I want people to do. All I want people to do. Because the more of you that get ready, the more people that can live. Not going to be pretty. I'm telling you. We lose that grid. It is plain and simple game over. Probably at least 90% of the population in the first year. That's what studies say. That's not something I'm pulling out of my butt. And I would say it's probably pretty damned accurate. You got to understand how this stuff works, and there's snowball effects to all of it. But that disease, man, once that disease starts kicking in, from again, improper sanitation, not knowing how to dispose of waste, not knowing how to dispose of bodies, it compounds the issue of not having clean water to drink. That don't take long. Starvation don't take long. Because a lot of people don't have enough stuff in their pantries to last over a week. You saw a mild run, an extremely mild run on the stores, and you couldn't wipe your ass for months. What do you think's going to happen this time around? Not going to be good, Tater. Anyway, I hate to leave you on such a happy note, but it is what it is. Get ready. All I can say. Telling you, I do it to myself sometimes. A lot of times as I'm coming on the air, yeah, that's me, that's my fault. Whatever. You can have your money back that you paid to get in. So anyway, I'm out of here for the evening. Please do something towards being better prepared. And God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. So hang in there. Crazy, crazy times. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit. We'll catch you later.